the concept of niyat is my love letter to Pakistan. Listen, I think Pakistan has the most incredible talent. And I rang them up and I said, Yusuf. And they said, I'm always so proud of you. My ex-husband's family are all in one house.
Zaman Park.
In Zaman Park. Pakistan Zindabad. I need politics out of my life. Nice to see you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jemima.
Great.
Okay.
Lovely to see you. Bye,
Pleasure.
Murtaza.
Okay,
God,
cheers.
really.
हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं जमाइमा खान जो किसी तारुफ के मोहताज नहीं है. उन्होंने एक फिल्म बनाई है जिसकी धूम मची हुई है. What's Love Got to Do With It. फिल्म इस वक्त पूरी दुनिया में उसके मुख्तलिफ प्रीमियर्स हुए हैं और हमारे साथ वो इस एक्सक्लूसिव इंटरव्यू के लिए मौजूद है. हम उनसे फिल्म जो मुख्तलिफ रिश्तों के हवाले से ख़ास तौर पर अरेंज मैरिजेस और जो मुख्तलिफ जो रिश्तों के दरमियान ख़ास तौर पर जो साउथ एशियन कल्चर में जिस तरह बाज़ नौजवान लोगों को रिश्तों पर मजबूर किया जाता है उस हवाले से ये फिल्म है जिसको खूब पज़ीराई मिली. हम जमाइमा से बात करते हैं. जमाइमा, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू वेरी मच for agreeing to do an interview with us. If you could tell us about this film that you have previously done news-related documentaries, you have written articles for various English publications. Why did you decide to do a film?
Extremely good question. I set it as a challenge to myself, and I also wanted to write a film that celebrated Pakistan. I wanted to show the colourful, beautiful, joyful place that I knew when I was in Pakistan, as opposed to the Pakistan that we often see on Western screens. You know, quite often in films like Zero Dark 30 or Homeland, you see Muslims and Pakistanis depicted as, you know, the baddies.
Yeah.
And Pakistan is seen as a really scary, dark place. And so I got a chance to make the rom-com version of Pakistan with working title that invented rom-coms, and with this beautiful cast with Sajjal Ali, who's beautiful Pakistani actress and very talented, and Shabana Azmi from India, who's an absolute goddess, and Lily James, who's wonderful, and Emma Thompson, and all these, and Shazad Latif. And so I wanted to show the Pakistan that I knew, and a celebration. I always call it, from the beginning, I've called it, you know, I've hoped that it would come across as my love letter to Pakistan. This place where I kind of feel like I grew up. I went there when I was 20, I left when I was 30, and I feel it's somewhere that became part of me. You know, I have huge affection for the country and have many Pakistani friends still, and I still get a lot of love from Pakistan.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm very lucky and very grateful for that. So I just really hope that Pakistanis like it.
You talked about the depiction of Pakistan, and there is no doubt that film is actually a beautiful depiction of Pakistan. I've seen it.
Thank you.
But is the film inspired by, to what extent is the film inspired by your own experience of going to Pakistan at the age of 20, spending 10 years there, 10 very eventful years, and then coming back to London, and then being connected with the country?
Look, every single anecdote or character or line in the film comes from something. It's all, you know, it's not a biopic. It's not my story, as you can tell, but it is definitely based on stuff that I saw or experienced. And it also reflects my journey and my understanding of what an arranged marriage is. You know, when I was a 21-year-old with very limited understanding of these things, I thought what a lot of people in the West think, which is this is a sort of outdated idea, it's you know, it makes no sense, and I've, like a lot of people, I think a lot of people in this country conflate the idea of forced marriage and arranged marriage, which of course are completely different. And when I went to Pakistan and I lived, so my ex-husband's family are pretty conservative. We lived in a joint family household. I lived with my ex-husband, his sisters, their husbands, their children, his father, all in one house.
Zaman Park.
In Zaman Park, and all his other relatives also lived in Zaman Park, as most people know. And I saw arranged marriages up close, long-term ones that were being arranged. And I saw people who were really happy and they were successful in a lot of those marriages. And so I came back to the UK with a completely different view of how these things work, and a totally different viewpoint to most of my friends, my old British friends. So I came back saying to them, and it started kind of as a joke, this film, because I started saying to them, who would your parents choose for you?
Yeah.
Like, given the choice, if you let your parents choose a candidate for you to meet and potentially marry, who would it be? And more importantly, would it work?
Yeah.
And that was the first idea for the film, because as you know from having watched the film, the white British Pakistani non-Pakistani character basically gets to the point where she asks her mum to suggest somebody for her, because she's copying her British Pakistani neighbours whose son, her best friend, is having an arranged marriage. So yeah.
What about your sons? Did your sons see the film, and Sulaiman and Qasim, and what was their reaction to the film?
I'm glad you asked that, because their reaction has definitely been the highlight for me of the whole experience.
Really?
Because they are not rom-com lovers. They don't like those kinds of films. They're my biggest critics, and obviously they're, half Pakistani Muslim kids, so they, whether they liked it or not was very, very important to me. I got them in to see it, and they said at the end of it, I could see they'd been like a little tearful, and I'd also heard them laughing, and they said, I'm always so proud of you. And I think they knew how hard I'd worked at it, and I literally thought, oh well, if no one else likes it, this is the moment to
that
be
must
proud
be a
of.
very, very proud moment for you.
Yeah.
Now moving on, why did you decide to cast Sajal Ali in that very key role in your film?
So what happened was, we wanted someone who was a perfect match for Lily James, someone who was as beautiful, as good an actress, as vivacious and as nuanced as Lily James. And so I don't know if talent agencies exist in Pakistan, but I didn't know of one. So instead, I rang up an old friend of my ex-husband, Yusuf Salahuddin.
Yeah.
And I rang him up and I said, Yusuf, I need your help, because Yusuf Sali is kind of, I think, unofficial king of culture in Pakistan. Yeah. And I said to him, tell me, this is what I need. I need her to be this age. I need her to look like this, Is there anyone? And he said, Sajal. And so he sent me a video, he put me in touch with her manager, and then after that she auditioned for the part, and everyone was just in agreement that she was perfect for it. So it's Yusuf who was the casting agent.
We've seen the film that you have included, leading actors from India, Pakistan, and the UK. And is there any message of, any unifying message when there is, characters involved from India and Pakistan, and you see, we have, Pakistan and India has a history.
Yeah.
So is there any message that you're trying to portray there?
I mean, I think I want this film to be enjoyed by everybody. Obviously, it relates to my experience in Pakistan, but I hope that the issues in it are more global and relatable on a wider scale. And I love that there is the best Indian and Pakistani talent all together in one film. Even musically, we have Naughty Boy, Shah, and we also have Nitin Sawhney, and they work together. And Rahat, I mean, can you imagine? He plays himself in the film. He played at my wedding, and I was a big Rahat, I was a big Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan fan, and obviously Rahat as well. And so to have him play himself in the film and do the music for it. And you know that Lily now sings on that track as well.
Yeah.
So Lily does the English lyrics.
Excellent.
So I love that it is a bringing together of different talents from different countries, British Asians, British Pakistanis, British Indians, Pakistanis, Indians, and that's really important to me. And that's why I desperately don't want it to be sullied by politics, and I want it to exist above politics.
So how were you able to reimagine and reinvent Pakistan from London? Because the whole film was shot here and...
You mean literally?
Yeah.
We actually had a second, because it was during COVID, so it's very challenging. We couldn't travel or anything. But we got the help of the brilliant Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, who's my friend, and she helped us by filming a second unit in Lahore. And I just basically said, can you make sure that Lahore looks beautiful in the shots?
Are you planning to release this film in India and Pakistan?
Yes. Inshallah. It's releasing everywhere in all territories, so...
Would you ever make a Pakistani film, especially after the recent success of the Mola Jat, the legend of Mola Jat, at a very wide scale?
I must watch that. I haven't watched that yet. Listen, I think Pakistan has the most incredible talent. And actually, I want to try and do some kind of mentorship scheme. And so I'm actually talking to Fatma Bhutto, my friend, about putting together some kind of fund or mentorship scheme to help filmmakers in Pakistan get their work made and seen globally, because there's so much talent in Pakistan. I know that it's a bumper year, you know, there's documentaries and shorts and feature films that are all this year being kind of celebrated, but there's so much more. If you think, you know, how hard it is to get things seen and made in Pakistan, there's so much talent in that country, and so I really want to try and find a way to help get that, you know, that talent showcased internationally.
Jemima, you have a large following across Pakistan. What will be your message to your fans in Pakistan?
Oh, just I really, really hope you come out to the cinemas and watch it, whether you know you're in Pakistan or to the expatriate community in the world. I just really hope that people will enjoy it and be entertained by it and understand that. You know, the best thing that it came from my time in Pakistan, the best lesson I learned was the concept of niyat, you know, of intention.
Intention, yeah.
And I think everything in life, whether you make mistakes or not, we need to live in a world where people judge things by intention. And definitely, I hope people will see that my intention behind making this film was one of love for Pakistan. So you're right, normally I produce documentaries, usually quite serious ones, and television shows for the US and for the UK. And about 10 years ago, I had the terrible idea that I should try and write a film. And it took me, I mean, years and years and years to get to the point where we are now, promoting the film for cinema. I thought it would be much easier than it was. It's really hard to write a script, and I didn't know how to do it at all, so I had to learn. And why did I decide it? So
it is very clearly reflected in the film. But going forward from it, we also see that, you know, whenever you say something on social media, a huge number of Pakistanis come, they send you, you know, love emojis, and many of them actually want you to come back to Pakistan and settle there. What is your message for them, the people who really still adore you?
Pakistan Zindabad.
So definitely I'll keep politics out of it.
Good. Good. I need politics out of my life.
Jemima, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was nice to see you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jemima.
Have you got my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Lovely to see you. Bye,
Pleasure.
Murtaza.
Okay, cheers.